Chris joins us now. More pressure on Notre Dame or Michigan in this game, Chris?
I think there's more pressure on Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. You look at the time frame of how long Jim Harbaugh's been in Michigan now. These are all his players. There's a crack in the armor in Ohio State in the Big Ten right now with the Urban Meyer situation. And Michigan's yet to really have that standout season or big-time, Final Four appearance at this point right now. So, I think there's a little more pressure on Michigan at this point.
If you were going to handicap the quarterbacks here, because Notre Dame loves to run with Winbush, and then you get Shea Patterson who transferred and comes in. And so what do you expect offensively in this game from these two quarterbacks?
Yeah, I do think that this has a chance to be an ugly football game, and not necessarily because of the quarterbacks, but because of the great defenses I think we have in this game. Michigan's defense is special. There's no denying that. I think Notre Dame's defense is being a little overlooked in this matchup because of the star power on Michigan's defensive side of the ball. But I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Shea Patterson, going back, watching film from Ole Miss. He can make some jaw-dropping plays and throws. He's a special athlete. He's got very good feet, and if he turns the corner, he can turn the corner and run 20, 30 yards up the sideline. He's got a quick release. There's a few errant throws here and there that I see mechanically, but I was very impressed with what I saw with Shea Patterson. And then as far as Brandon Winbush is, he's in the conversation for the most gifted running quarterback in the sport. He does need to polish up his throwing. I watched the spring game film. There's still throws that you'd like to see him consistently make that he misses. And, I still think it's a work in progress, Dan, as far as just his ability to be that consistent thrower within the pocket. And they're going to need that tomorrow night, because I just would be shocked with losing Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey. And don't get me wrong, Dan, this Notre Dame offensive line I still think is going to be very good, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to defend this run game that they got. But I just think with this front seven in Michigan, which I would argue is top of the nation, you're not going to be able to rely on the run game all game long. You're going to have to make some throws, some NFL-type throws into some tight windows, and be somewhat consistent with it if they want to win this football game.
Who should win this game?
Oh, I know. Who should win this game? It's about as toss-up as a game as I've ever covered, really. I think that Michigan should win this football game. I do. I think if you just ask me who should win it, it's Jim Harbaugh. It's a special defense. They got their two running backs back from last year in Michigan. They are missing Tariq Black, who is really probably their most talented receiver. That hurts them. But end of the day, Dan, I think this is like a 16-13, 20-17, maybe a 13-10, just slugfest type of football game.
Chris Sims joining us, of course, co-host Pro Football Talk Live with Mike Florio. And he'll be there for pregame and post. Countdown to kickoff 7 Eastern on NBCSN tomorrow night. It's Michigan and Notre Dame. These schools recruit you?
They did, yes. I can still remember, oddly enough, I went to Notre Dame. Bob Davies was the head coach. I went for the spring game. Urban Meyer was the guy that was in charge of recruiting me. So I had a great time getting to know Urban through being recruited at Notre Dame. And then at Michigan, I can still remember Lloyd Carr in my family room going, Christopher, I'm telling you, Drew Henson's going to go play baseball. We need a quarterback. I don't know if that's a good impression, but I tried my best. But I really wanted to go to Michigan. But I was scared of the Drew Henson situation. He was a year older than me, and of course he was, God's gift to the world of football at that time, especially in the state of Michigan. And I felt like that was dicey, so that really held me back from that.
How was Urban as a recruiter?
Amazing. I mean, Urban's just so calm and cool, and he can, for lack of a better phrase, he can keep it real. He, wasn't afraid to, say things that you might not like to hear or whatever it was. I enjoyed my time with Urban. I mean, he's a special guy, and listen, I know this is not the best look for him right now, but in my eyes, he is one of the best college football coaches in the history of the sport.
We had Lane Kiffin on last hour, and I asked him about the quarterbacking situation at Alabama. That is this by design, what's going on where you have Coach Saban has not announced who his starting quarterback is going to be. And he said this is just about making sure that the one who doesn't get to start doesn't transfer. There's still a chance that if Tua gets the job and Hurts doesn't, that Hurts could still transfer. But how are you going to be able to placate both of those quarterbacks this year?
Yeah, that's going to be extremely tough. I would go with Tua. Again, I mean, just what we saw. Hurst, I think, can get you, 9-0, 10-0, get you to the national championship games, all that. The thing that's always going to concern me about Hurst is just when you do play those defenses that go, oh, okay, we're not scared of Alabama's physicality in their run game. We're going to make them beat us with the pass game. I think that's where we've seen the struggles there. So he can kind of feast on the weak from that standpoint. But Tua, again, it's a limited sample size, but pretty impressed with just his natural throwing motion and his moxie in such a big situation. And if I was Alabama, not that I've studied them real hard, you know me, I'm mostly NFL and then whoever Notre Dame's playing. But I would go with Tua. I think it gives them a greater chance to, keep it rolling down there in Alabama.
Well, speaking of the NFL, you had Tony Romo doing press media for CBS's NFL package, and he said that it's Tom Brady's stage, then it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' stage, and then after that, it's going to be Sam Darnold's stage. What did you make of that?
I'm not ready to anoint Sam Darnold yet. I do think Sam Darnold has some special attributes. Certainly he's young still. He's got time to develop here. His feet, his pocket presence, his cool, calm demeanor. I've been around Sam. I mean, New York City, the bright lights, the media, it's not going to affect him one bit. So that's going to be great. But I will say this, I'll bring this question up for you or any other Jets fan. The one thing I haven't seen from Sam Darnold that I've seen from all the other rookie quarterbacks is just standing in the pocket making wow throws. That's the one piece I think that's missing from his game. It's what scared me coming out of USC. I really thought he was the worst pocket passer of the whole group of quarterbacks. And I think to right now, and if you watch the Jet games, Dan, I mean, not too many throws down the field, not too many throws outside the number. I do think he's a worker, and he can kind of tinker with some of his mechanics to fix those things. So I'm not saying it won't happen, but, yeah, I'm just bringing up, a little food for thought and one thing that does concern me about his game.
Have fun in South Bend. Tell Liam and the boys we said hello, and thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thanks, Dan. I'll talk to you, man. Be good.
That's Chris Sims, NBC Sports.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.